My wife lied about our son's paternity. My family knew the truth and hid it from me. It started as a joke, one of those harmless trends that pop up every few months. My coworkers were doing DNA kits to find out their ancestry, and someone said, "You should do one with your kid. See if he got your Viking genes." We laughed. I ordered 2 kits the next day, one for me, one for my son, Connor. He was 7. Bright, curious, obsessed with dinosaurs and grilled cheese. My little shadow. My everything. Rachel thought it was cute. "You're ridiculous," she said when I told her about the test. But she smiled, kissed my cheek, and helped me swab Connor's mouth. She didn't seem nervous, not even a twitch of unease. If she had flinched, maybe I would have seen it coming. A few weeks later, I got the email with the results. I opened it at lunch, alone at my desk. It showed a breakdown of my genetic profile: Northern European, some Baltic, nothing surprising. Then I clicked over to Connor's and stopped breathing. Parent-child relationship, unlikely. I stared at the screen, read the line over and over, then checked again. Same sample code, same date, same everything. There had to be a mistake. I refreshed the page. I reopened the email, but nothing changed. It didn't say we were a partial match. It said no match. Not even close. My hands were shaking. My first thought wasn't even anger. It was panic. This must be a lab error. A glitch. They mixed up the samples. I called customer service. They were polite but firm. The results are accurate. You can repeat the test if you'd like. I ordered another kit. This time, I drove an hour to a private clinic. Paid extra. Watched every step as they sealed the sample. Waited 2 weeks, barely sleeping, barely eating. When the email came, I opened it before I was even out of bed. Same result. It was just a fun DNA test. Until I saw the result, 0% match. And everything I knew about my life started to collapse. Rachel was folding laundry when I walked in. The second test results were still open on my phone. I didn't speak right away. I watched her for a moment, wondering how someone could lie so perfectly for so long. She looked up, smiled, and said, "You okay? You look pale." I sat down on the couch and handed her my phone. She glanced at the screen. The smile dropped. Her hands froze. I watched her eyes scan the words. Parent-child relationship, unlikely. She said nothing. I asked quietly, "Whose child is he, Rachel?" Her lips parted, then shut. She sat down slowly, like her legs had given out. "Ethan, I didn't think it would ever come up. It was one night. Before we were serious." "Before we were serious?" I said, my voice cracking. "We were planning our future. You were practically living with me." She tried to reach for my hand. I pulled away. She started talking faster. "It was stupid. I thought I was pregnant with your child. And then things got better, and I didn't want to ruin it. I was going to tell you. I just didn't. So you let me raise a son you knew wasn't mine? And you let me believe it for 7 years?" My voice was shaking now. She was crying. "You are his father. You're the one who's been there. Biology doesn't matter. He's yours in every way that counts." I stood up. "It matters. It matters because you lied. And everyone else lied with you." She looked confused. "What do you mean, everyone else?" I told her I'd talk to my family next. I needed to know how deep this went. She begged me not to. "Please don't drag everyone into this. It's between us." But I already knew. The way my mom had once hesitated when Connor was born. The strange way my brother had acted that first year. She said it didn't matter. That I was the real father. But lies don't raise children. Truth does. I didn't go to work the next day. I couldn't. I drove straight to my parents' house. My mom opened the door, surprised to see me in the middle of the week. "Everything okay?" she asked. I didn't bother with small talk. "Did you know?" Her face stiffened. "Know what?" I held up my phone. The DNA test results were still open. She didn't even need to read them. Her shoulders sank. "I found out after Connor was born," she said quietly. "Rachel told me during one of your business trips. She was scared. She didn't know what to do." I stared at her in disbelief. "And you didn't tell me?" She reached out like I was still 10 years old. "I thought it would hurt you. I thought you loved that boy. I didn't want to ruin everything." I backed away. "So instead, you let me live a lie." She started crying. "You were so happy. You were already in love with that baby. What good would it have done to tell you?" I turned and saw my father watching from the hallway. He said nothing, just lowered his head like he was ashamed but not surprised. I called my brother next. I didn't even say hello. Just asked, "Did you know Connor wasn't mine?" His voice was flat. "Yeah, Rachel told me before the wedding." My knees nearly buckled. "And you didn't think I deserved to know?" He sighed. "I thought you did, but Mom convinced me to let it go. Said it was better to leave it alone." My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. "You all lied to me. All of you." He didn't argue. "We didn't lie. We just didn't tell you." I laughed bitterly. "That's the same damn thing. My wife lied to my face, but my family stabbed me in the back." I moved out 2 days later. Rachel begged me not to go, but I couldn't breathe under the same roof. Every room whispered a different kind of betrayal. I packed a duffel bag and left without looking back. Connor cried when I told him I had to go. I didn't tell him why. How could I? He was innocent. I hugged him for longer than usual, memorizing the way he wrapped his arms around my neck. The first few nights in the apartment I rented were the loneliest of my life. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I just sat on the edge of a mattress on the floor, trying to understand how everything had shattered so quickly. How the people I trusted most had held a lie in their hands for years and said nothing. Rachel kept calling. My mom, too. At first, they apologized. Then they shifted. "You need to forgive her," my mom said during one call. "Think of Connor." I told her I was thinking of him. That's why I left. Because I didn't want him to grow up believing love meant silence, or that betrayal was something you just swallowed to keep the peace. Rachel showed up at my door once, holding a photo album. "He still needs you," she whispered. "Please don't leave him." I let her in, but only to talk. She cried. I stayed silent. Eventually she said, "What I did was wrong. But doesn't what we built count for something?" I looked at her and said, "It does. It's the only reason I didn't disappear completely." They all wanted forgiveness, but none of them earned it. I started therapy. I didn't want to at first, but my body felt like it was carrying poison I couldn't flush out. The therapist didn't give me answers, just space to say what I had never said aloud. I told her about the test, the silence, the way my family treated truth like a threat. She listened without judgment, and slowly, I started to breathe again. Connor kept calling me. Little things asking if I could come to his school play, if I wanted to watch a movie like we used to. I went. Every time. I didn't stop being his father. I just stopped being Rachel's husband. I told her we'd need to co-parent differently. That I'd be in Connor's life, but the rest was over. My family didn't take that well. My mom said I was being cold. That families forgive. That real love doesn't walk away. I told her love doesn't hide the truth for 7 years. She didn't like that answer. We stopped talking for a while. I didn't chase her. I focused on rebuilding. Got a better apartment. Started running in the mornings. Read more. Slept better. It wasn't a movie-style comeback. It was quiet, messy, sometimes painful, but it was real. And that mattered more than any illusion I used to live in. One evening, Connor asked me point blank, "Am I your real son?" I froze. Then said, "You are my son in every way that counts. And nothing will ever change that." He nodded slowly and leaned into my chest. That moment healed something no test ever could. I can't undo the lies, but I can build truth going forward. Sometimes I think about the version of my life where I never took that DNA test, where I lived in ignorance, raised Connor without questions, trusted Rachel without doubt, smiled in family photos not knowing I was the only one in the dark. I wonder if that would have been easier. Maybe, but easier isn't the same as right. The truth nearly destroyed me, but it also freed me. It broke the illusion, ripped away the performances, and left behind something I could finally trust, my own voice, my own sense of worth. For once, I stopped living for other people's comfort. I chose honesty over harmony, and peace over pretending. Rachel still tries sometimes. Little messages, friendly tones, hints of maybe we could start again. I don't respond anymore. Not because I hate her, but because I finally love myself enough not to go back. My family? We're polite, surface level, but the bond is gone. When you choose silence over someone's dignity, you don't get to ask for closeness again. Connor is still in my life. He's the only one I fought to keep. Not because of blood, but because of love. A love that's honest, one that grows in truth, not deception. So now I ask you, if your entire family betrayed your trust, and the person you loved most built your life on a lie, would you forgive them? Or would you finally choose yourself?